So Chatbot Arena, let's listen to GPT-4. Just as two candidates might be compared in a head-to-head skill assessment to gauge their relative strengths and weaknesses, language models in the Chatbot Arena are evaluated in direct competition. The win rates and ELO scores are akin to performance metrics that help calibrate where each candidate, or in this case, chatbot, stands in the larger pool of contenders. So Chatbot Arena was developed by LMSys group. It actually came up this year, and they came up with this really interesting way of evaluating language model, which depends on this randomized battles between LLMs. And you can see that the user interface for this crowdsourced evaluation, we get the same input into the language model, and then we get two different generations, and they come from different models. The question here is the request here is to correct the grammar. We see like there is an error in the sentence. One model comes up with an answer that is not really helpful. Another one actually comes up with a correct answer. I would definitely say that the B is better. That would be a win for model B, and that would improve the overall score of model B in the leaderboard. The whole leaderboard is measured using a rating system called ELO, which comes from competitive sports like chess. We'll not get into the details of this calculation, but the higher the score, the better a language model, the more battles it has won. I would say the benefit of this approach is that it uses like real prompts or real generations. It's evaluated through users in this pairwise approach, which is probably quite reliable. The focus here is on chat assistance, which means like we're really evaluating whether LLM align with human preferences, if people like their answers. That may not necessarily be factual. So I could imagine a situation where a model that is really poor on truthful QA, we've seen that data set, actually can do very well in Chatbot Arena. That could be a potential scenario. I think might be worth some investigation. So a lot of upsides of this approach. However, it is still very costly. It depends on having this crowdsourced evaluations. It may require some time for new models to be evaluated in this way, and for this reason, the team behind this dataset came up with Empty Bench, which is a dataset containing 80 high-quality multi-turn questions. You can see some examples here in this snapshot from the dataset. And they also used LLM as a judge. And this is a concept that has become quite popular recently. Instead of using human evaluation, which takes time, which is expensive, we can request a model like GPT-4 to come up with its evaluation. This is more scalable, and we can also get some explainability. It reduces need for human involvement. What the team has found in this paper, when they compared GPT-4 scores and human expert scores, they found like it's actually high agreement. It's similar to how different human experts correlate with each other, which means it might be a good way of assessing, for example, human alignment using an LLM as a proxy of a human. There are some biases associated with using LLM as a judge. For example, position bias, depending on which generation comes up first, it may influence the result. There is verbosity bias. Models that generate more text, more verbose output tend to get scored better. And self-enhancement bias says that GPT-4 believes GPT-4's answers are better. Claude kind of prefers Claude's answers. So there is a bias there as well. But I think for practical use cases, using model to evaluate responses is actually something that is quite often used in practice and quite promising if done carefully.